Hi, I'm Dipti Salopek, Chief of Staff here at Snyk. Today you're going to hear from me and 3 of our tech nonprofit partners on how we can all make an impact together. Now, before we get started, I just want to take a moment to recognize that just being here this week at SnykCon together, all of us are pretty fortunate with our lives. And when I personally feel this fortunate, I like to remind myself of 2 things. One is to thank those who've helped me along the way, because I certainly didn't get here by myself. And 2 is to think of those that I actually want to pull up with me as I rise, because we can achieve so much more when we all rise together. And that's actually how we operate at Snyk. One of our core values is to care deeply, which is really about humility, gratitude, empathy, caring for all of those around us. And that is the foundation on which Snyk Impact has been built as a program. Now, the opportunity in front of us, just in our space, is immense. Let's take diversity. Did you know that only 24% of computer scientists in the world are women? And that number is down from 37% back in '95. And that's just gender. We have an acute skills shortage in our space, and we cannot solve that problem without addressing the diversity gap. And turning that tide is going to take all of us together. Or let's talk about digital security. Did you know that there's 10 million social impact enterprises in the world, and surveys show that only 5% of them have the resources or the know-how to achieve digital security themselves? Now that feels like a problem that's right in our wheelhouse to be able to help with. And then there's climate change. July was another month that was the hottest on record, and the temperature continues to rise. We don't have a choice. We all have to come together and think of a more sustainable future for us. Now, Snyk is taking a lot of actions towards our own impact program, but just imagine the power of what we could achieve if we come together as a community and join forces in our collective efforts. Just imagine what we could achieve. And that's not just a pipe dream. That's actually what we're doing. Just in August, we, along with a group of our customers and partners, volunteered to build AI robotic learning kits to help under-resourced schools. Now that's introducing a whole new generation of underprivileged children to STEM. So a huge thank you to our customers for your support, and to those of you in the community who actually joined us in that event. And remember those nonprofits that couldn't afford to be digitally secure? Snyk is actually donating or discounting the Snyk platform to social impact enterprises that just don't have the resources to achieve digital security by themselves. And then there's climate change. We were really proud. Back in 2019, we achieved carbon neutrality. And we want to continue and build upon that program and have a much more extensive climate program going forward. And of course, you can donate funds. Here at SnykCon, we and our sponsors have pledged $100,000 to Fast Forward. Fast Forward is a tech nonprofit accelerator, and we're pledging the money to them and 5 companies in their portfolio, all of which are focused on increasing diversity in our space. Speaking of which, it's time to introduce you to Shannon Farley. She's the co-founder of Fast Forward, this tech nonprofit accelerator that we love so much. Shannon and her team have accelerated more than 70 tech nonprofits, and between them, they're touching more than 80 million lives today. That's the power of doing things together. So Shannon, thank you so much for joining us. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and your work?
Hi, I'm Shannon Farley, co-founder of Fast Forward. We started Fast Forward because we want to see the best tech applied to our biggest social problems. And we get after this problem by investing in startups, social entrepreneurs who are building tech products. We're investing in the next generation Khan Academy and Wikipedia. And we're so honored to be partnering with Snyk, because Snyk is giving us everything we need to help our entrepreneurs thrive. They're giving us access to capital, as well as Snyk employees, customers, and partners who can give pro bono hours and support to these life-changing organizations. They're working in everything from education to healthcare, human rights, and climate change. So if you want to learn more about these organizations and how you can help, please visit snyk.io/impact or text Snyk to 707070. Together, we can make tech be a force for good.
Thanks, Shannon, and our employees love mentoring your portfolio companies. So here's how all of you can help sponsor and support Fast Forward and their portfolio companies. You know what? Actually, let's just do it together right now. It's easy and we got a minute. So open a new tab in your browser and type snyk.io/impact. That's snyk.io/impact. Go on, do it right now, right while we're here together. Or if you're in the US, you can text Snyk to 707070. That's Snyk to 707070. I actually did my donation earlier this week, which is why I know it's easy. And I see a lot of you have done your donations already as well. So thank you, a huge thank you to all of you and to every Snyker and to all of you just for being here and having an impact. This is just the beginning. When we think of what we can achieve together, the opportunity in front of us is simply limitless. So with that, let me introduce you to two incredible, inspiring leaders who are both alumni from the Fast Forward program. There's Chung, who's the co-founder of Careervillage, a leader who is incredibly passionate about the power of scaling career mentorship to millions of students all over the world. And there's Aura Tanner, co-founder and chief learning officer of the AI Education Project. And Aura just cares so deeply about identifying gaps in our education system and thinking through how we can fix them, like with STEM. All right, Jared and Aura, thank you so much for joining us. And Jared, over to you.
Hi, everyone. My name is Jared, and I'm the executive director of Careervillage.org, a nonprofit organization that crowdsources career mentorship for underrepresented youth. The problem that we solve is that young people are finishing their education unready for the world of work. Now, they feel alone in preparing for their futures, and they often really just don't know how to get started. Now, when I was a kid, my family faced financial troubles, and the stresses that came from that drove me to become very career focused. But my public school guidance counselor didn't have the time to talk to me about my future. And that wasn't her fault. There are almost 500 students for every high school counselor in this country, which means that counselors rarely get to talk to students at that really personal level. Now, fortunately, I was incredibly lucky to have two mentors who volunteered their time to help me create my first career plan, figure out how to get into college, and open up their networks to me so that I could get my questions answered. And I ended up graduating from college and getting a great first job in business. But most of my peers back in my high school weren't lucky enough to get a mentor, and their outcomes are very different from mine. So inspired by my mentors, I turned back and started mentoring underrepresented youth. And so I learned as both a mentee and a mentor that it really takes a village to help a young person prepare for a career. And that's why we created Careervillage. Now, our solution is crowdsourcing. On our platform, students can ask any question about any career. We automatically match those questions to volunteers who can come in and answer the questions on the website. And to be frank, you already know the answer to these questions because you have the job that these students are hoping to get. Now, this reverses the ratio. Instead of 500 students for each counselor, for every student, now we have hundreds of volunteers who stand ready to answer their questions at any moment. And this is really a new approach to mentorship. It's modern, it's asynchronous, it's fast. And this is often the first time that our students have really had a serious conversation with an adult about careers, which makes it a really life-changing experience for them. Because when you answer their question, you're validating them. You're showing them that there's somebody who believes in them and takes their goals seriously. And that is incredibly empowering for a young person. Now, Careervillage.org has delivered career advice so far to over 5 million people across 190 countries. And that advice has come from almost 100,000 volunteers. And our vision is to unlock the power of this mentorship and really show an entire generation of youth that they're not alone. And I think that all of you know best of all what that would feel like because you are developers. And I remember when I started learning to code 10 years ago, the developer community was full of people who were welcoming, helpful, ready to give back, ready to help people get started. We help newbies troubleshoot online. We answer their questions on Stack Overflow. We pay it forward by contributing to open source. And we have an incredibly powerful community with great values. And as a result, it's easy now to get started as a developer. And that's what we want to do for youth, for careers. It should be easy to get started thinking about careers. Now, we need DevSecOps professionals badly. We have 100,000 volunteers, but only 600 have any security-related tech experience. And this is one of the fastest growing and best compensated occupations, and our students need to learn about it. So please help. My hope is that you'll go to snyk.io/impact. You'll look for the Careervillage entry. You could donate financially to our nonprofit. You could contribute to our code repos, or you can go follow the link to our website where you can sign up. And my hope is that before the end of SnykCon, you will sign up and answer just one student's career question to give it a try. Now, together, we can show the true power of mentorship. And thank you so much for your time.
Hi, I'm Aura Tanner, co-founder and chief learning officer at the AI Education Project. I previously worked as an 8th grade science teacher at a school serving majority Black and Brown students. And while I was there, I discovered 2 things. One was all students are definitely not being afforded the same opportunities to access learning about certain topics in science and especially in technology. The second thing I learned was that I have a superpower, and that is how to use technology to create innovative and meaningful learning experiences that empower students from underserved communities. But it's this lack of access to learning opportunities that deeply concerned me, but it inspired me. So I ended up going back to school to get a PhD in instructional design. It was during my doctoral studies that I was privileged to complete a fellowship in Silicon Valley. And this is where I really took a deep dive to learn about AI and algorithmic bias. And I had decided I wanted to create a middle school curriculum to educate students about AI and bias so they would be prepared for it in the future. This is also where I met one of my co-founders who was speaking on an AI panel, and he was looking to do similar work to educate students about AI in K through 12. And so he, myself, and our third co-founder eventually teamed up to launch AI EDU. So AI EDU was launched during the middle of COVID, which was a time where we saw huge amounts of automation as companies were struggling to stay afloat. It also was when we saw all of education in mass move to online and remote learning. So motivated by schools asking us for online materials and seeing the effects of AI real time on the workforce, we felt this was a perfect opportunity to not only provide high quality materials, but also instruct students about artificial intelligence and its impacts on jobs and careers. So we built a digital curriculum to introduce students to the knowledge and skills that will be necessary to thrive in a society where AI and automation are increasingly being a part of every industry. So this curriculum, it engages and inspires students through game-based learning, project-based learning activities, and it focuses on the social, political, economic, and cultural aspects of AI and how it will impact students' future careers and jobs. And as it turns out, it worked. So we started off piloting in the May of 2020 at Akron, Ohio, with 300 high school students at Firestone High School. And we've since grown to reach more than 20,000 students as of the end of summer 2021. So 87% of students who take our course find our materials engaging. 80% of students expressed a desire to learn more about AI in the future, and nearly 1 in 5 surveyed students reported they intended to explore a new career path as a result of taking our course and learning how AI will impact jobs. So your donations can help us continue to bring AI to diverse students in communities who are disproportionately impacted by AI systems and who lack access to learning about this important topic. So you can visit our website and sign up to bring this curriculum to schools and community programs. You can also help us identify teachers and classrooms who you think would enjoy implementing this. You can also volunteer to help us build and scale out our own platform. Or if you just want to sign up to find out more and even try out our curriculum, you can do that on our website. So that's our story. Thank you very much.